Did you know that grammar is one of the 4 main criteria for assessment in the IELTS written and spoken exam? Did you know that it can make a big difference to the way you feel about yourself in the exam? Well, in this video, I'm going to list 15 grammar tenses that you must know before you go into the IELTS exam. The first one is the present simple when you're talking about yourself in the speaking part 1, or you're talking about an event in part 2 or 3. So generally for talking about facts and general truths. It's also important in both task 1 and task 2 of the written exam. So just remember to revise it. It's the easiest one, so you can't go wrong. So number 2 is the present simple passive. It is important in written exam task 1, the academic version, because there you need to talk about processes. So for example, if you're describing a process of how the meat is packaged, you will talk about how the meat is processed, washed, cleaned, dried, fried, whatever. So it's all passive tense and you need to be able to use it fluently. So number 3 is past simple, which is obviously used to talk about past events. So the examiner might ask you a question about the last time you went on holiday, or tell me about your childhood friend. So you're gonna have to use the past tense to do all that. It's also useful in the written exam, of course. Bear that in mind, and let's go to number 4, which is past simple passive. Past simple passive, a bit like the present simple passive, is used to describe some kind of a process or something which was done in the past. We don't know who did it, or we're not interested in it. So if you're writing an essay about pollution, or you're writing an essay about the use of electronics, you can say how in the previous generations computers were not used as much. So that's past simple passive. Okay, so let's go to number 5. So number 5 is past continuous, which is very useful in the speaking exam when you're describing a situation. For example, if the examiner asks you about an accident that happened that you need to describe, you will need the past continuous. You will need to say something like, I was riding my bicycle down the road when all of a sudden I was hit by a car. Hopefully it didn't happen. It did happen to me though, but that's not part of the lesson. Number 6 is past perfect. Past perfect, similarly to past continuous and past simple, is very useful when you're talking about a past event that happened some time ago, and past perfect is used to talk about something that happened before something else in the past. So it's a bit contorted, but you might need to say something like, when I got home, I realized I had forgotten my bag at school. Then we have past perfect continuous, again used in description of an event in the past. And here it might be useful in speaking part 2, just like past perfect simple. It might also be used in a letter. If you're writing a letter in IELTS general training, task 1, you might have to write down something that happened some time ago and something which was going on at that particular time. For example, you can say, I had been working all night when I fell asleep on my computer and it broke down because I banged my head so hard. For example, it's probably never happened. It's probably never happened to anyone. So it's not a very good example, but you get what I mean. Past perfect and past perfect continuous are both used to talk about an action which was either happening or happened before another action in the past. Number 8 is present perfect. Extremely important in all parts of the exam. Basically, it tells you something that has happened, has some kind of bearing in the present. For example, if the examiner says, tell me about yourself, you can say, well, I'm a student, I've studied English for 5 years, and that's present perfect. I have studied English for 5 years. It means it's an action that happened in the past and it's important right now. So there you go. Next is present perfect continuous. A bit like present perfect, it talks about an action we started in the past and it's kind of continuing in the present, and it shows some kind of a consequence. So again, if the examiner says to you, talk about yourself, well, you can say, well, I'm a swimmer. I've been swimming for 10 years and now I'm a pro. That's because I've been doing it for so long. So that's present perfect continuous. Remember, past tense also includes things like used to and would to talk about past habits that are normal. Number 11 is future with will. Again, it's an important tense because it is used to talk about things that you're predicting will happen in the future. They don't have to be major events. It could be anything. It could be like, I will be a successful person in the future because that's what you're predicting, and I hope that's true, because if you're not, then I'll be very sad. So you can use future with will to talk about future events that you predict will happen. Of course, useful in a speaking exam as well as the written exam. Then we have future with going to, which comes in handy in speaking part 1, possibly 2, and maybe also 3. When you're talking about your plans, something that you've planned to do that you want to do, or your intentions, like I'm going to buy a new car or I'm going to move abroad. So just to recap, while we use will with future predictions, things that we think will happen, going to is more like a plan. Then we have the ing form, which is number 13, which is an absolute arrangement. Like if the examiner says to you, what are you going to do in the near future? You can say, well, I'm moving abroad, which means that it's definite. I'm going to move abroad is more like an intention. I'm moving abroad is definite. It means you've made up your mind, you've probably bought your tickets, you've got a new house, etc. So remember the slight difference between the two. And number 14 is future with possibility, like might and could and may. Like, again, if the examiner says to you, what are your plans for the future? You can easily say, well, I might move abroad, but I'm not sure. You can also say, I may also stay here and not go anywhere, but I would like to move abroad. So that's the more likely situation. The last one, students, is the future perfect, which is an action which is finished in the future by a certain time. So examiner may actually ask you in the speaking exam that what are you hoping to achieve in the future? You can say, by next year, this time, I will have finished my university. In 5 years, I will have got married and have a child or two. If that's what you want to do, that's a very noble ambition. Otherwise, you can say, I will have got a new job and settled down with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whichever. So these are the 15 different tenses that you need to know before you face the IELTS exam. By knowing, I mean that you should be able to use them with a fair degree of comfort. You shouldn't be too much in pains and contorting yourself in all different positions to use these tenses, because if you want to get a high band, let's say band 6.5, 7, 7.5, then you need to be using a variety of grammar. Remember, accuracy and variety of grammar is one of the 4 main criteria for the speaking and writing. So it is extremely important that you do that. If you like this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and I hope I shall see you soon. So bye for now. Peace.